when women talk about men dating in their tax bracket, why don't men in their tax bracket date them? Subscribe, let's talk about it.
Normalize dating within your tax bracket. If you see that a woman is funding her own lifestyle, taking herself on trips out the country, buying her dream car, living her dream life, booking her own reservations, going to the nicest restaurants in town, and you can't double that, why are you trying to talk to her? We're confused.
We hear this conversation all the time in different forms, right? Whether it's a beauty standard, whether it's a money standard, all the things are saying that here I am in an elevated position and that you cannot. You don't show that you deserve it. You don't show that you've earned it. There's no reason that I should be approached by you who I've deemed do not meet my criteria. Women will say it because I look a certain way, because I carry myself a certain way, or because you see me spending money on trips. I'm taking myself out and dining, all this. They never understand that part of this messaging is part of one side. On the other, it's also talking about why don't men approach? Well, you give us all the reasons why we shouldn't. You show yourself to be kind of awful to talk to. That if I'm approaching you and I can't see any of these things that you're telling me I should be watching for, I can't see what your annual salary is, I can't see any LLCs or escorts that you have. I just see you look attractive, I'm coming to shoot my shot, and then you want to immediately say, well, you have to do these things and have these things available, readily available, or else I'm not going to talk to you, or else you're not a candidate. You know what we do on this channel. We do not shame people for wanting what they want. We just try to understand, why aren't you getting the thing that you want? If you're saying that men should date within their tax bracket because they see the way you're moving, and they don't, but let's say we do. We see the way you're moving. Don't approach me. Don't come after me. Okay. The obvious rejoinder is, why do men in your tax bracket not want you? What happens if you try to understand this from a different point of view, that yes, men are approaching women in their tax bracket, or men are dating women in their tax bracket, and you're not where you think you are? But before we continue, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss no uploads. Still trying to go strong, still trying to do 2 a day. Still trying to keep that discipline going. So look, we got merch in the store, so hype the video, share the video. So part of this conversation, the other part of the conversation, the quiet part, is that, yeah, men are dating within their tax bracket. Men are at least marrying within their tax bracket. And depending where you catch these men, that tax bracket is going to change. But you end up canceling yourself out. You end up negotiating yourself out because you think that your tax bracket is a thing, the determinant factor. Okay, when we look and we peel away the rhetoric, when we peel away the talk, and we look at the data and it shows, hey, you're not doing as well as you think you are. As well as the drama says that you're supposed to be doing, as well as any of that information is going out and says you're supposed to be killing it like this, the data says what it says. You're not outstripping, out earning the men like they want you to believe, like the propaganda says. It would be nice, it would be dope if that was happening. Women are catching up, women are overtaking men. You have it, you're getting more degrees, you're owning more houses, but you're in more debt. You're in more consumer debt. Let's put the mortgage debt aside. You're in more consumer debt. You have worse credit scores. You have worse sort of economic outlooks in terms of retirement, in terms of net worth. So in all the areas that matter, you're not really outstripping men like you think you are. When we see the jobs report constantly come out, and we see the unemployment rate among Black women can like steadily rise to the point where we're saying there is a program against Black women in these fields, in these jobs. We're ignoring that some of these jobs that you got where you got degrees with jobs that are kind of easily being replaced by AI, or with DEI jobs that you got when it was the season, what it was in turn. Well, I won't deny that there may be an agenda behind that. There may be an agenda that's eliminating these positions, but at the same time, this is what we're dealing with. This is the economic reality of it. So when you want to say that men should date within these tax brackets, okay, realistically, they're in your tax bracket. You just have this inflated sense of self that you don't deserve the tax bracket you're in. You think that your life, the way you move, the fact that you're buying a steak dinner, the fact that you're booking yourself flights, we know by the data, again, right, going back math, that some of the stuff that you're doing, you're going into debt to do. You don't consider these things as problems, you look at them and say, well, their experiences and experience are what makes life worth living. So you will go into debt to do these things. While men tend to be a little more practical or spending money or more on other things. Or they're looking towards the future and understand right now it may be grind session, it might be grind mode. And that may take 10, 20, 15, it takes years. Men sort of get that. So the way you splurge upon yourself now does not mean you, it means that these men should not come up and approach you. Again, we can't see it. We can't taste it. You don't walk around with your resume in front of you. You're not walking around with a W-2, posted on your forehead. We don't know what you're talking about. But to the main crux of this, those men who are of that tax bracket that you say you belong to, they're dating women already in their circle. You're not in those circles. You have aspirations to be in that tax bracket that they should recognize you for that. But the fact is, that's not happening. We see it time and time again. We see the stories. We see it all happen. The real truth is coming out that those men who are in that socioeconomic category, they're marrying less, or they already had someone that they got in high school, in college. You already had that almost as an arranged marriage. These families are already well-known, well-established, they're doing well. So they're in the same social circles. They summer places. They went to the Ivy Leagues. They're part of the same intricate clubs. They tend to marry there. They tend to play in the slums. So when you get someone that plays with you, you think somehow your value is attached to that. You see that all the time when someone dates someone in the industry, an NBA player, an entertainer. You think because that is who you've been with, that's who you slept with, somehow your value is increased. No, it's not. That's not how men attach value. That's not how men look at value. And men are setting, this is how I value you. You're the product. Just like we are your product. We value it differently. We come across and say, this is what I have, and this is what I think I can be able to claim. One of the reasons why men are always going to approach you, regardless of how you feel about yourself, about how you feel your status is because we understand sometimes two things. First being, sometimes you feel bad about yourself. Sometimes you put yourself on layaway. Sometimes you put yourself on discount. Your previous trauma, the way you move in the world, your previous relationships, the way those stack up on you, and you don't do the work to cleanse yourself of those things, means your worth sometimes starts dipping down. This is where men have, hey, this is on discount. This is a Black Friday sale, a real Black Friday sale, not I'm saying this on sale, it's the same price. No, we see that sometimes you're not feeling it yourself. Whatever reason, hey, he can come in here, he can get a good deal on this, and he does. We see that across the board. We see that when men and women get together and say, you guys are not equally yoked on so many departments. You look better than him, you've got more money than him, you've got more access to him, yet he is the one you're spending your time with. Why? Past trauma. Men understand that, so I'm going to shoot. Just in case you're one of those people, one of those women that have their life together, doing so well, they're doing incredibly well, yet you're with a bum. We see it happening, and it's going to continue to happen. Okay. And then you also have kids with those men, right? This is a big reason why men are just saying, I'm going to shoot my shot. I'm going to try it anyway. Two, yeah, maybe you realize, okay, maybe you end up realizing that, yeah, your value is the way you think it is. Maybe you come to grips and say, okay, maybe I was outside of my mind in thinking that this is where my tax bracket was. But you know what happens? That realization usually comes when your optionality starts, disappearing. By the time you get older, when you're approaching those mid 30s, 40s, when you're looking and saying, it's not like I thought it was. That's when reality starts to hit. That's when you start saying, shit, I may have been wrong. And the men are still going to shoot their shot. They're still going to try. They're still going to throw it out there, see what happens, what they can grab. This is the game. You want to isolate yourself and think that you belong to a certain category because the way you treat yourself, not going to knock you, not going to take that away from you. But we just want to caution realism and say, realistically, that's not really how it works. That's not how it has ever worked. You keep pretending like it's otherwise. You keep telling yourself it's otherwise. All you will do is keep yourself single longer and longer and longer and longer for the men that you think that you want, for the men that you think are in your tax bracket, your caliber. Yet you're not getting those results. I don't understand the insanity behind this idea that I'm going to continue to beat my head against the wall and get the same lackluster results, and I'm just going to double down on it because the probability exists out there. It may happen, or the possibility exists out there, not the probability. It possibly could happen. That one guy can come and he can be all the things that you need. And then he, in all his greatness and all his dopeness, he's not going to understand his own optionality. He's just going to decide, I'm going to be with you in particular as you are, fault and all. Yeah, that's not happening. That's not happening across the board. But y'all want to keep playing the lottery, so I'm not going to stop you. If you disagree, let me know down in the comments below. If you see other videos on your screen, check those out. Let me know your thoughts about those in those videos, of course. And if you made it to the end, you listen to my voice now, I appreciate you. I think you should subscribe. We're just trying to build something dope. I'll see you in the next one.